right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Golf would be much more interesting if, for one shot in each 9, your partner can just clean your club.
Skenes, what a jerk! I'm never playing golf with him again.
Who? Gendison?
Steve Genison.
Why does that name sound so familiar?
He used to be a baseball player.
So you have to think about it in the back of your head. You're like, is this the time he's going to drill me?
Does he have to yell blitz like you get to the top and all of a sudden
you get Brian's sight.
We're on the 15th hole. Yeah, he's beating me by a couple of strokes. Then he's about to hit his second shot when he picks up the ball and cleans it.
Now that would be fair.
But you've got to time, if you're the one doing the blitzing, you got to get time so you don't get whacked with the club.
You go low.
So what?
Sorry. But the rules clearly state that you cannot clean the ball unless it's on the green. The rules are very clear about that. Yeah, so I penalized him a stroke. He lost it. We almost came to blows.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamara. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight, he ain't doing nothing but running his mouth. Talk about it, we all about it. They making plans, we sit and count. Our chairs stacked, just
all right, Brewers fans, we want to hear from you this morning. 800-990-3776. Were you at AmFam Field yesterday? Did you watch Paul Skenes, phenom, pitch an almost no-no? Allowed no hits through the 7th inning at AmFam Field. Brewers made a little noise when they pulled him from the game, but that actually is the big story. Should the Pittsburgh Pirates have pulled him from the game? Were you cheering for Paul Skenes yesterday at AmFam Field in the hopes of seeing a no-hitter? And what's the best thing to see at a baseball game? 800-990-3776. Gabe, I want to start with you on this one because you are our resident baseball guy. What obligation does a team have to let a pitcher, a 22-year-old pitcher, making his 11th start of his Major League Baseball career, potentially to be the All-Star starter next week when they hit the Midsummer Classic, what obligation do they have to keep him out there at 99 pitches and let him try for the no-hitter, which is still a pretty cool thing in baseball?
Zero obligation.
None.
Zero obligation whatsoever. Their interest is in the long-term health. And I think everybody's been scared since 2012 when the Mets decided to let Johan Santana go to 134 pitches to finish his no-hitter, and he just kind of wasn't the same after that. So ever since that point, it seems teams have been very, very leery of letting guys go to extra lengths in order to throw no-hitters. And a lot of these teams, when you have a young stud like this, try to put pitching plans in place to try to protect them, to make sure they can stay healthy for as long as they possibly can.
So, if Jordan Love is 3 touchdowns away from breaking the single-season touchdown record,
yep,
and they've already secured the number 1 seed, the last game doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Do you play him? Thank you.
But this is a random game in the middle of July. The Pirates are 8.5 games back of the Brewers. Not even comparable. Not even close.
So?
In terms of, well, it is comparable in that you would sit Jordan Love to protect him because the most important thing would be to make sure he's healthy for that playoff game.
So we're talking about the end of the season, headed into the postseason versus a random day in July when the kid's only made 11 starts. He's 22 years old. His velocity was not dropping. You checked the game log. You said he was still throwing 97. The coach said he was tired. I don't know. Do we have the coach sound from yesterday? I don't have a sheet in front of me, so I'm pulling. And Joshy doesn't have a voice, so this is a predicament that I find myself in now. The coach said he was tired. He was looking at him. the eye test, essentially. This is where the eye test comes into play. The manager, Shelton, what's his name? I don't remember.
Just make something up.
That's what you do.
Skelton,
that's what he did in terms of the reason he pulled Paul Skenes.
So 800-990-3776. I do want to hear from Brewers fans. I want to hear people who were at the ballpark yesterday, people who were watching the game yesterday. I was listening to it on the radio. Gabe asked me, were they cheering for him? I said, it's a little tough to know. I was listening to the Euchre Call on AM 620, our sister station over there, and I couldn't really tell if fans were cheering for Paul Skenes or not. We did put it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll yesterday after the game, after Skenes was pulled in the 7th inning, asking our loyal listeners, do you want him to do it? Do you want to see a no-hitter?
Not when it's 1-0. Maybe if it's 12-0, give him 6-0. But it's 1-0. The game is not over.
Yeah. 1-0, you're still looking to pull out the victory there.
No way in hell.
You don't appreciate the no-hitter?
No, I could care less.
Really?
Unless the Brewers do it or the Sox do it, no.
I think you appreciate it after the game, but you're not rooting. Like, if let's say they let Skenes finish the game, and it's 1-0 going to the bottom of the 9th, aren't you rooting for the Brewers to score a run or two? That's what you're rooting for.
Well, sure, which, again, the Brewers did when they pulled Skenes, get to the next pitcher. They weren't able to push either of those runners across, but they did get a couple of guys on the reliever. I think I want to see history. I think I'm able to convince myself that a game in the middle of July where the Brewers have a substantial lead on that opponent is worth it for him. And again, he's a phenom, guys. He has a chance to start the All-Star game for the National League next week. That's enormous. Like, I think I'd like the chance as a fan who paid for my ticket and has the right to cheer or boo or whatever, I suppose, to see a guy get history. I've never seen a no-hitter, Gabe. I've watched a crap ton. A crap ton of baseball.
He's frozen.
Well, I can't tell if it's because he lost his voice or he's shocked that I almost slipped. I've seen a lot of baseball, and I've never seen a no-hitter. There's a part of me that if I was sitting at AmFam yesterday would have been like, kind of would have liked to have that on my resume.
But at what point are you cheering for it? You're cheering for it in the 7th inning?
I'm cheering for him to go back out there in the 8th. I'll tell you that.
Look, I think that there are certain things in baseball that we just need to accept. And, I mean...
You ever throw one?
No, I was a terrible pitcher.
I threw one my sophomore year in high school.
You did?
I did.
That a boy.
Yeah.
How many guys did you hit?
Cool.
Josh is going to be all over those hotkeys today since he lost his voice.
All right, this is war.
I don't know how you're going to fight back.
Yeah, it's not a fair fight. He has no voice today.
Kind of a big deal.
I walked some guys in the left fielder. It was questionable whether it was an error or a hit. And they
Clearly
gave him
an error. Tight situation like that, Chew.
I couldn't play baseball, though. I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't play baseball?
So flipping boring.
I knew that's what he was going to say.
Boring
I knew that's what he was going to say.
Can be. Is it boring?
I
kind of like him with no voice.
Somehow has more attitude.
Hotkeys are amazing this morning. That's Josh DiMaggio, who lost his voice overnight, but still making his voice heard this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Wait a minute. As somebody who threw a no-hitter, I would think you would have more appreciation for how challenging it is. Again, call notwithstanding, to get a no-hitter.
He threw a no-hitter. He doesn't want anybody else to ever throw a no-hitter.
Oh, that's right.
That's a good point, yes. But, I mean, outside of pitching and catching, holy cow.
In the hitting.
If I could hit every other time, I guess I would probably play. But sitting there and having the weight,
Oh, you wanted like automatic nexties?
Yeah, like wiffle ball, 4 guys on a team. You hit it to the opposite field, you're out. Softball rules. Ball, out.
Yes. Ghost men and whatnot. 800-990-3776. I do want to hear from Brewers fans this morning. Would you root for Paul Skenes? Again, I'm not saying any random pitcher. I'm using him as the specific example because of who he is, what he has done, what he could do in the sport. Again, we talked about next week, he has the opportunity to start as a rookie in the Major League Baseball Midsummer Classic for the National League at the age of 22, guys. Dumpy in West Bend is on the line, 800-990-3776. Let's go out to Dumpy. Dumpy, what do you say about Paul Skenes? Should they have kept him in? And as a Brewers fan, did you want to see a no-hitter at AmFam Field yesterday?
I wouldn't leave somebody in with that young, with that long of a career ahead of him. I wouldn't take any chances. He could end up with another Gasser situation where you got to shelf him for a year while he's immensely helping your club.
Didn't that happen with Strasburg?
Yeah, I mean,
they kept him in too long or something like that, and he wound up blowing out his UCL.
They had very strict rules for him, very strict, and he still blew out his UCL. Still needed Tommy John surgery.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they tried to keep it as strict as they possibly could, and to try to preserve him. And that's the other thing, because a team like the Pirates,
yeah,
like whenever Paul Skenes, if this presumably continues, they're never going to be able to afford him. Or they're going to choose not to afford him, I guess. Apologies to Josh.
To Jeff Passett.
They're going to choose not to afford him. So if he ends up tearing his elbow and needs Tommy John, that's a year of control that you lose. And that's just devastating to a team like the Pirates.
But they haven't, I'm looking at his game log, they haven't kept him in check in any of the other starts. I mean, in 4 of the last 10 starts, he's gone up over 100 pitches. Now, he was at 99. He threw 107 in the previous game. Maybe I can hypothesize and say the accumulation, the cumulative of last start at 107 and this start at 99, maybe they thought that was too much, right? Still getting 5 days rest in between, I believe. I didn't check the date, but that'd be my guess as to how they're using this kid. The difference between Johan Santana, the example that you used earlier, is with the New York Mets. I believe he threw the Mets' first no-hitter, right? The first no-hitter in Mets history, so it was a big flipping deal for the Mets. He was 33 years old. So it's a little bit more understanding that then he struggled to bounce back from that, and he was never the same. Skenes is 22. I mean, you talk about a rubber arm sometimes, right? Like, this guy has done it all so far. I'd be shocked if going a few more innings. Again, he threw 6 in the 7th, Chew. He threw 6 pitches in the 7th inning. So essentially his efficiency was getting better as the game was going on.
But if you're throwing 99 through 7, you're looking at what, Gabe? 130?
So that's the thing. So yes, he went 107, which is the highest of the season in his previous start. I mean, even if he is super efficient and goes 6-6 his last 2 innings, like you're going up over that total.
The
Brewers
best
have been
case scenario.
That's best case scenario,
6,
which
so.
Again, it would not have happened. He would have at minimum.
I think that's why they did it.
Minimum 120, 125, because that's what he was going to need to finish the thing.
Yeah,
and if he was at 110 pitches, are we having this conversation?
No.
Mm-mm.
And he probably would have been 110, 115 pitches through 8 innings, and it's like, we can't let.
But do you like this trend of baseball? Because the trend feels like it's a little cyclical. It feels like you should let players do cool things was where we were at one point. Then it was like, well, you can't let players do cool things if it potentially affects their future. And as you mentioned, Gabe, the investment we are making in that arm. And then it seems like the pendulum has swung where fans are again like, hey, we'd like to see cool things. Cool things aren't happening all that often. Can you please put a pitcher in a position to do cool things? And here's what I will say. 20 to 30% of major league pitchers are going to have Tommy John. It is essentially at a 4th or a 3rd. So there's a part of me that says they're all going to get Tommy John. Not all, I know. I'm using an absolute when I shouldn't. But a chunk is going to have to get Tommy John surgery anyway. If you had to bet right now, do you think Paul Skenes has Tommy John before his Major League Baseball career is over, Gabe?
Well, the numbers say no. So I'll lean towards no.
The 75 to 70%, 70 to 75%?
That don't need Tommy John surgery. I will lean towards that direction. If I'm getting that kind of odds, I will lean that in the heavy favorite there.
So, Chu, you have no issue with Skenes being pulled, and to take it one step further, you would never root for an opposing pitcher to throw a no-hitter in your home ballpark.
Correct.
Well, what if it's perfect game, Brewers are losing 6-0, you get to the 9th inning. Guy's trying to close out a perfect game.
A perfect game?
Yeah, perfect
game. It's different than a no-hitter.
Yeah, 100%. It's the next level.
It's up to the player. It's up to
the player. I'm saying if you are at a game, if the pitcher through 8 innings had his team up 6-0, Going into the bottom of the ninth, he just needs 3 outs to get the perfect game. Are you rooting for the perfect game?
What's his pitch count?
But are you, as a fan, rooting for the perfect game?
No, I don't root for the opponent.
Okay.
Ever.
Even if they're up 6-0.
Like, did you, when you went to the Ryder Cup,
yeah,
and a European hit a good shot, did you clap?
No.
What are you doing here?
That's a good point.
You know?
That's a good point.
Do I want Justin Jefferson to come in and break Jerry Rice's record single game, whatever? No. Hell no.
I'm having deja vu. Did we not talk about something similar to this just a few weeks ago? Did we not talk about fans and being good fans, and good fans means you don't root for the opponent? What is the difference in history of how many no-hitters there have been versus perfect games in Major League Baseball? I believe there have been up over 300 no-hitters in baseball. I believe the perfect game is under 30.
Yeah, less than 30.
I think it's 20-something. Perfect game 25. In baseball history. I thought that the number would pop. 24? 24 perfect games in history. There should be 25. There should be 25. You know how I feel about that. You know how I feel about that. We'll hold it for another few weeks, but you know how I feel. It should be 25.
The man cried.
800-990-3776. Let's go out to Justin in Middleton. Justin, you're on with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Your thoughts on yesterday's potential no-hitter at AmFam Field?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call, guys. I think it goes back to a conversation you guys had a few weeks ago. And it was in regards to Paul Skenes when he was pulled. And they gave him a standing ovation. And you guys are like, what are they doing? Why are they giving him a standing ovation?
Yeah, I was in St. Louis.
I don't remember. Yeah, I was in St. Louis. And you guys are like, what are they doing? It's not like this guy's a legend yet. And so that would be my only thought. And then just real quickly, Joshy does indeed sound a bit rough. He sounds like Tausch when Tausch tried to do the show one time. I feel bad for the guy, but he sounds like Tausch when he tried to do the show, and he's like, I feel fantastic. So thanks, guys.
I feel fantastic.
That's the first time we've heard Joshy's voice, by the way. Like, we heard him in the production meeting this morning, and then we were like, hey, buddy, take 5. Like, don't do that anymore. But it occurred to me just a moment ago, every time you take a call, you have to say Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, or Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Okay, so we'll try to limit that as much as possible this morning. 800-990-3776. Lots of folks weighing in saying, did we or did we not comment or make fun of Cardinals fans a few weeks ago for cheering for the other team? So I want to make the distinction. Weren't we talking about Skenes having like a quality start in that one, and the Cardinals kind of gave it up for the quality start?
He was pulled. It was a very similar situation. I mean, I guess it was only 6 1/3, but he was at 103 pitches, and they pulled him. He had given up 0 hits at that point, so it was very similar situation. Very similar.
Is there a situation in football where you would cheer for the other team? Hell no. Against the Packers.
Hold on. Okay, I don't want to put but when Brett had some of his like games, right, where you were like, oh my God, he's on another level. Everybody talks about the game after his dad died. Are you trying to tell me that there were fans in that stadium that weren't cheering for him?
That's a different situation.
Why?
Because his dad died at a young age. Right?
I mean, Raiders fans were cheering for Brett that night.
Yes, this is not convenienttheoriesforyou.com, buddy. I mean, like, so someone has to die for you to cheer?
I think the situation there where it happened on Friday, the question was
he going to play?
Was he going to play? And he comes out and says, my dad would want me on that field. I think you appreciate that. That's a totally different situation.
So hold on then. Would they have cheered for him regardless of what he had done on the field?
No.
If he goes out,
it's
because he had such a big night. Gabe, what were the numbers from that night? Pull up your encyclopedic brain.
He had 399 yards passing, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, and his dad was a
Did you just really do that? Did you just seriously do that?
399 yards and 4 touchdowns.
That's so I love that you just, because you want to know something? For a moment, I was like, oh, crap. I threw him when he doesn't know. I feel real bad. And he was like, and he spits the numbers out like a psychopath. I love it so much. We got to get to Jason Wilde. We also have Craig Carmesin this morning. Don't forget about Week in Rechew. It is a Friday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Keep getting us your reaction to the Paul Skenes situation yesterday at AmFam Field. Brewers did lose that game 1-0. Paul Skenes pulled after the 7th inning, 99 pitches with a no-hit bid in place. We roll on right after this.
Tune into the Analysis Show each and every week. It's presented by Gruber Law Offices. Thanasis at Adacumbo hangs out with special guests for fun and even surprising conversations. Maybe it's his live show with Giannis, a chat with Green Bay quarterback Jordan Love, getting the inside scoop on fighting with Logan Paul, or any one of TA's unique guests. Find The Analysis Show on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcast. Plus, you can subscribe to The Analysis Show on YouTube and see exclusive video content from Thanasis. The Analysis Show, presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink.
Things looking a little bit tight on northbound 43 from about Center Street all the way to Keefe. Westbound 94 has eased up just a bit, so we're looking pretty good between the Marquette and the Zoo. And then westbound on 894 between 27th Street and 68th Streets, where you're going to see delays. Other than that, everything else is looking pretty good. Traffic is brought to you by Dave & Buster's. Book your fantasy football draft party for a free draft kit, free room rental, free appetizers, and more. Dave & Buster's, your ultimate fantasy football draft experience. Visit dnbparty.com to get started. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, sunny, some haze with a high of 83. Tonight, mainly clear with a low of 66. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
You're never going to believe it.
Why would I not believe it?
John Hoyman has a big idea. Big.
John, our Chief Financial Officer?
Hi, Rick. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Monica.
Hi, John.
Hey, John.
Are we in trouble?
No. Everything is great.
Tell them your idea.
18-month special financing for all purchases made in July.
Subject to approved credit, right?
Of course. Just ask an associate for details.
That's 1.5 years to pay. Can we do that?
We're an employee-owned company. We can do anything we want.
Sarah, are you nervous we can't afford it?
Sarah, this is John, our CFO. If John says we can afford it, we can afford it.
Do you like the idea of 18-month special financing?
I like it.
I like it.
But only for purchases made in July, right?
Right.
I like it.
18-month special financing for all purchases made in July. Only at Kessler's. For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Check out the newest Lady Jane's in Oak Creek on Howell Ave, just south of Puce Road. Just walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Ask for me, Haley. I will make you look and feel great. Take advantage of a grand opening special. Haircuts are just $20. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Ave, just south of Puce Road. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Ready, down, put. All Packers, all the time.
He was a field tilting player, and the reason why Gabe and many others are so concerned is that this guy's on the field, he changes the offensive dynamic. They are a different offense when he is there.
Okay, most of the time.
You know, Homer calls Matt LaFleur soft all the time. Matt LaFleur is like Vince Lombardi compared to me.
It's Jason Wilde on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
This is something that I believe Jason Wilde and I have in common. We both root for stories. So yesterday, as I'm listening to the dulcet sounds of Bob Uecker on our sister station, AM 620, WTMJ, and the Brewers are being no-hit by Paul Skenes, I'm kind of hoping he does it. I'm kind of hoping that the 22-year-old throws a no-hitter at AmFam Field. Jason, are you rooting for the story in that sense, or are you rooting for the crew?
I'm not rooting for the story because apparently I hate Livy Dunn, and since that's his girlfriend,
Wait, what?
What do you mean, apparently?
Yeah, who says you hate Livy Dunn?
So I don't hate her, but so yesterday, Tausch called her a great gymnast, and I am as you guys well know, I am a big believer in the precision of words. And she's not a great gymnast. She's a great social media personality. She's a great NIL athlete of the NIL era. But, I reserve great for great. And I was labeled a hater because I was pretty irritated that we would be conferring that word to someone who's like the third or fourth best gymnast on her team, the LSU Tigers. So God bless her, man. She has done a fantastic job of parlaying her gymnastics career at the college level into fame and fortune. But I'm sorry, the word great is reserved for greatness. And you can't be the fourth best player on your team and be considered great. You just can't. So nothing against Paul. I assume he did not succeed in his no-hit bid.
It's correct. He was pulled after the seventh inning.
Feels like you would have heard about that big guy.
That's exactly my point. So yeah, no, I didn't know he was no-hitting them. I would not have been rooting for him because I wouldn't want anything to make Livy Dunn happy, obviously, because I hate her so much from what I understand.
There's so much sarcasm in this conversation. My brain is like trying to sort through it, but I think I follow what you're saying. So yesterday, obviously, no, he did not get the no-hit, but this is a 22-year-old guy who is potentially going to start the All-Star game. Got selected for the All-Star game. It's the first time in Major League Baseball history that a guy was drafted and then is in the All-Star game the summer after he was drafted. And there's a chance he will start for the National League. So there's a part of me that is just like, this guy's on another level. I want to see him do all the things, get all the flowers.
Yeah, I'll say this. I am intrigued by this year's All-Star game, which I don't know if I can say since like Bo Jackson was playing in the All-Star game or Fred Lynn was hitting a grand slam at Comiskey Park in 1983 and Robin Yankees, four guys on base when Atlee Hammaker served up the grand slam gopher ball. So that's my extent of interest usually in the All-Star game, but after having Christian Yelich in the studio and him being back his previous form, I'm rooting for him, and now I'll have to root for Mr. Livy Dunn, too.
Jason, in all your years of covering the Pack, is it 30 years?
I cannot tell you how happy I am that you're asking a question right now.
Oh, thank you. It might not be good, but I'm asking it.
No, it's just a different subject. That's all that matters.
Are you at 30 years yet?
This will be season 29.
Season 29. In your 29 years of covering the team, if Jordan Love does not sign before the start of training camp, will this be the second biggest distraction heading into a season that you've experienced?
Second to...
You know. You know.
Flight aware.
12 and 4.
That's not a record.
I don't know what you're talking about. I assumed you were referring to that year that Sterling Sharp decided to hold out on the eve of the start of the actual season, which was the year, I think 2 years before I got on the beat. So, no, I would say this. I don't think it's going to be as big of a distraction as we might think. But I do, and I've been saying this for a while now, so I'm sorry to repeat myself, but I do wonder what kind of impact it'll have on the really good vibe, really good juju that they've got going on, right? Like, I don't know how sustainable that is. Like, I'm writing about the wide receivers for my position by position preview for the State Journal, and they're all I think they're authentically kumbaya, all rooting for each other, all buddies. But that doesn't last either, right? Sooner or later, guys are going to want to get paid. Guys are going to want more balls. That's not going to last. And in the case of the Jordan Love situation, there is such a good feeling and vibe around this team that if he doesn't have his contract to start the season or to start training camp, and he's reporting, but he's not super happy about it, he is thinking about some of the risks that might be involved. If that happens, I do think that it kind of puts a damper on the good vibrations, to use a Beach Boys term, since they played a concert last night up here. But distraction, no. And it's certainly nothing will ever even be in the same stratosphere as the summer of 2008. Not even the Rodgers stuff the last couple of years of his tenure was anywhere close to what that was. I look back on that and I just think, oh my goodness, how did that play out the way it did? But hopefully, if I cover the team for another 29 years, we don't have another repeat of that.
Jason, did you ever have any run-ins when Monty Kiffin was the defensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Any Monty Kiffin stories?
Not personally, but I do know this, and Chewy, I'm sure, has already said this and can vouch for this. The Tampa 2, for a period of time, was the kryptonite for Brett Favre.
Mm-hmm.
He really, really had a hard time with it because, he was a swashbuckling hero quarterback who did not want to dink and dunk and take what opponents gave him. And so I'm just fascinated, and Chewy can speak way better to this than I can, but I'm just so fascinated by how cyclical the NFL is and how smart the coaches are, that Monty Kiffin and Tony Dungy can conjure up this defense, this Tampa 2 version of a cover 2 scheme that really flummoxes a lot of really, really good quarterbacks and really good offensive-minded coaches. And then after a few years, those offensive-minded coaches and those quarterbacks start to figure it out, and now you have to adjust. And the chess game, here we are. Think about Joe Barry. The Packers hired Joe Barry because that Vic Fangio scheme that he would be bringing was really the kryptonite to the Shanahan, McVay, LaFleur offenses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as it turned out, that didn't last very long. And now we're talking about this, as Bulaga calls it, playing the run on the way to the quarterback, this Jets or Jeff Hafley system. And I'm sure after a couple of years, that'll change. When Dom Capers, and Bill Cowher had the Blitzburg defense. People didn't know how to handle that. I really think it's fascinating how you think you've got something solved, and for a few years you may, and then no longer is that the case. And Monty Kiffin is at the front of the class with that Tampa 2 defense.
The funny thing is, Jason, if you really look at the Tampa 2 that Monty Kiffin invented, I guess, it's really not cover 2. It's really cover 3.
Right.
It's really cover 3 because the middle linebacker, when he determines that it's pass, just turns and runs.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a whole new set of plays to defeat the Tampa 2, and it sucked for me because a lot of times I have to clear out. But you think he created that, Jason? You think he created that just for Brett?
I do. I mean, exclusively for him, maybe not, but certainly with him in mind, because you're right. The concepts that are involved. I mean, look, Urlacher and Derek Brooks, the guys that really, because Lovie Smith obviously brought that to Chicago, and Favre could not figure it out for the longest time either. But again, it's just so dependent on patience. And what's funny is, to your point, lots of teams now, when you look at what the LaFleur and Shanahan and and McVay offenses do, the fact of the matter is that it requires you to, scheme guys open and then take what the defense gives you. It really, the challenge for Favre was, can we go 10, 12 plays without making a mistake? And that's how you beat the Tampa 2. Well, if you look at what these offenses do now, that's kind of the same idea, right? Like you have to execute because you're not always getting the big play. And so, again, I don't claim to know nearly as much as you do, but there's no doubt that when Monty Kiffin and Tony Dungy were putting this together, I mean, they were still in your division back then.
Yeah.
So there's no doubt that Favre was a major factor in it.
Good stuff, Jason. We appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. Have a great one. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, everybody. Take care. Be good.
He's Jason Wilde. Listen to Wilde and Tausch right after Jen, Gabe, and Chewy right here on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee.
If you're planning a fantasy football draft of your own, draft like a champ at Dave & Buster's. Book your fantasy draft and get 20% off food and non-alcoholic beverages and even free appetizers all season long. Get started today. DNBparty.com. DNBparty.com. Speaking of Dave & Buster's, the ESPN Milwaukee Fantasy Football League is back this season, August 1st at Dave & Buster's in Tosa. Select ESPN Milwaukee fans will have the chance to draft their own teams right alongside their favorite ESPN Milwaukee hosts. Make sure you're listening all day long to 94.5 ESPN on July 19th for details on how you can not only have your own team, but team up with one of our own.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Westbound 894 tightening up a little from 35th Street all the way to 68th through that construction zone. Everything else seems to be rolling along pretty well, though we are getting word of some roadways getting closed in the downtown area. For example, Highland closed at 8th Street, so it's starting to be a little bit tighter with that security zone in the downtown area for the RNC. Traffic is brought to you by Two Men in a Junk Truck. Have unwanted clutter or junk? Go to twomeninajuncktruck.com for a free, no-obligation estimate. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, sunny, some haze, a high of 83. Tonight, mainly clear, a low of 66. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as... That's 888-665-0696.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 11 to 12-ounce selected varieties, Post Honey Bunches of Oats cereal, 2 for $5. 15 to 16-ounce selected varieties, Bush's Best Baked Beans, 2 for $4. 45-ounce selected varieties, Country Crock, $4.99. 56 to 57.6-ounce selected varieties, Extra Laundry, $2.99.
Why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take them out at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 24th.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. The hotel is ideally located in the heart of the theater district in downtown Milwaukee. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site galleries, and nightly live music, you'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Book special hotel packages with room rates starting as low as $129 a night. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft grace zone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft grace zone from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
It's Friday, and that means it's time to check in with GKB President Craig Carmesin.
Gabe, you're right. I actually just looked at the stats. No hypocrite has ever won a championship.
Fridays with Mo.
Mark Attanasio, the last thing he wanted to do was play a video and tribute Craig Counsell in any way. So I give Mark Attanasio a ton of credit.
Craig Carmesin on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy is sponsored by Landworks Landscape Services. Their creative and talented team will design, build, enhance, and maintain beautiful landscapes in southeastern Wisconsin. Learn more and see their work at landworkswisconsin.com.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend, Friday.
We love our Friday 7:30 appearances from Craig Carmesin. How you doing today, Craig?
We do.
Good. So you have the 7-Eleven. Is that how long has that tradition been going on?
20. I think we got it back to 2020. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. That's how that works. Yeah, we went to 7-Eleven yesterday, and we just got in by the skin of our teeth, by the way. The 7-Eleven closed at 10. We rolled up at 9:47, and it was a madhouse, absolutely craziness. Because yesterday was 7-Eleven.
Oh, I was wondering what the hell you guys are talking about. Did you literally go to 7-Eleven?
Yeah, so we do every 7-Eleven.
For Slurpees?
For Slurpees. They're free. Free Slurpees on 7-Eleven. Well, free advertising there for 7-Eleven as well. You guys want to be a
my
partner?
birthday's on 7-Eleven. So do I get like something more, or is it just like I get the same thing?
You get a cherry on top of your
never
Slurpee.
gone.
Wait a minute. Happy birthday, Craig. I didn't know yesterday was your birthday.
Oh, yeah, big birthday.
How old?
52?
49.
Yeah, right.
You really think he's lying?
6 years? Does that sound right? I guess. 6 years difference between us, Greg?
I've been doing a lot of Pilates, Chewy. I am in very
Still
good shape
can't get that 135, though, on the bench press.
No, but that is not a humanly possible weight for anyone to lift.
Would you, would you ever cheer for an opponent playing against your team? Any situation, your team.
So you're saying Skenes walks off the mound. He's pitched 7 perfect innings, or if he had gone and pitched a
Not
full
pit perfect
no-hitter.
because he walked Garrett Mitchell.
No, right? No, I know, and but I'm saying if he had pitched the 9. I'm saying if he had pitched 9 perfect innings, I think I do. If it's a regular season 1 out of 162, and I'm as competitive as they come, but if someone actually pitched a perfect game in my building and I was lucky enough to see it, and it's not a postseason game where my team, I think I am.
But that's more appreciating it after the fact, right? Are you actively rooting for it to happen in the middle of the game?
This is a very good distinction.
No. While the game's still going on, I'm still trying to win until the last possible out. But
See, and
once
I think
you've
that there
done
are
it,
people
you
out
show
there.
the respect.
I think there are people out there who root for the moment. I got Tim weighing in on the ESPN Milwaukee talk and text line saying, I'm so sick of Major League Baseball ruining moments. They continuously rob their fans of sports memories. They want the fame but refuse to put in the effort to get those moments, which, again, is a sentiment. The idea of I go to the ballpark, I'm paying to watch both teams. Do I want my team to win? Yes. But if something special is starting to happen and ruminate and marinate, and then I am like, oh, again, what I said to the guys earlier, Craig, is I've never seen a no-hitter. So a random day in July, I'm not going to sit here and be like,
I only think there's one sport where I could appreciate what the other athlete does, and that's boxing.
Golf?
Boxing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say golf.
No, boxing. Because I remember Tyson Fury fought him a couple times. Wilder, and I'm a huge Tyson Fury fan, and Wilder was unbelievable. Just kept getting up, kept fighting, and I think that's the only sporting event that
you're just respecting the toughness there.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't cheer for the other team or other country.
Okay, but I'm thinking again about moments I've been at arenas, and I was at the United Center for Jordan's game against the Bulls. Now, again, it's all right. It's Jordan, it's the Bulls, it's all that stuff. But there was a 5-minute standing ovation. Again, Jordan, he was on the other team, though.
Everyone hated Reinsdorf, and that was very different because I was at the Favre first game back with the Vikings, and there was no cheering for Brett Favre in that game, and he played an unbelievable game, and there was no cheering for Brett Favre.
No, and as there should not have been, especially when he's playing for the Minnesota Vikings.
I would
love in the division, regular season game. But Chewy, you said other countries. I was at the Olympics, and once any sport was done, you were cheering for whoever won the gold. It wasn't like, oh, we didn't win the gold, we're gonna boo Portugal.
No.
On the medal stand.
I'm saying if a team is playing United States, I'm not cheering for them at all. Like Gabe said when he went to the Ryder Cup, if a European stuck a pin or did something, you're not cheering for him. Are you?
No, I don't think so. But I think if they won, and when a match was over, if they had won, it's 3-2 or whatever. I think then you cheer both players because the match is over, and you cheer them because they won.
Yeah, I think there's a more of respect something after it happened versus cheering something. I think there is a line there. And I agree with you with that, Craig. If I go to AmFam Field and a no-hitter or perfect game happens against the Brewers, that's going to be, after the game's that was cool. But if I was at the game yesterday, especially in a 1-0 game, that game's nowhere near over, I'm not rooting for it to happen.
But you can also cheer him coming off the field after 7 innings and then, and give him a rounding ovation and then still hope your team's going to score in the bottom of the 8th.
I don't think there's a situation in football where you would cheer for the other team. Now, Jen brought up Brett when his father passed, but that's a totally different situation.
Yeah, that's more of a human thing. What about dude? I think dude kicks a 67-yard field goal right before halftime. I don't think you're cheering him. Right? I don't think you're cheering the other team.
No, you're cursing out I can't believe that bleeping kicker made that bleeping kick.
Yeah.
Right, guy makes an amazing, mosses someone and makes this incredible catch over your cornerback. You're not oh, that was awesome. You're oh, my cornerback sucks.
That was 2000. That was 2011 in the divisional round when Plaxico Burress did it to the Packers when he was playing for the Giants. I remember that very vividly. Craig was not rooting for Plaxico.
The only time, how about this? Let's just say Barry Sanders or some player goes over the 10,000-yard mark or passes someone on the all-time list. I think then you do cheer. If it's a career mark, I think you cheer them.
Point.
You just kind of respect. You're respecting the career of a great, of an all-time great. I think especially if they pause the game for it.
Well, Barry's such a nice guy.
That too.
Right, Barry Sanders has passed Walter Payton, and it's 2 icons of the game. You're cheering them, even if you're a Packers fan.
Craig, you going to Vegas at all?
I'm not.
What? I thought this was something you did every year for the Summer League.
I'm going to be in Dallas, though, for the Home Run Derby on Monday night.
Yeah, but you'd rather be in Vegas for the Summer League.
I would way rather be in Vegas, but my schedule did not work. Travel did not allow me to be in Vegas this year, unfortunately.
Craig, so we talked about, in the state, we talked about the 3 major teams in which over the last 10 years has been run the best. And I think, did we all come up with Brewers? Or no?
I wasn't here. Thanks for remembering.
Okay, thank you. Reach you. That's even.
I said the Bucks because they're the one with the championship.
No. You got to take everything into consideration. Baseball is unfair, how well they've done, the big losses. Now, I did put the Bucks in front of the Packers. I said Brewers, Bucks,
In the last 10
Packers.
years, the Bucks.
In the last 10 years, how would you rank them?
Yeah, I mean, in the last 10 years, the thing you give the Packers is that they've drafted Jordan Love, right? That's the single best thing they've done in the last 10 years. Because what they did with what they had coming into these 10 years, you'd be severely disappointed. When you look at the results over these 10 years, it's been awful for the Packers, considering what you would have predicted coming into this decade. So absolutely. I think it's clearly Bucks number one. They won a championship.
But they've been the
drafted
most
Giannis.
disappointing team since that championship in the NBA. They've been and I don't want to hear injuries. They've been the most disappointing team in the NBA since they won their championship.
But that's not how they were run. That's disappointment because they've been run so well that their expectations are so high. Like that's not an indication of being poorly run. That's being an indication of you're in like one of the smallest markets and you have that high expectations because you're that well run. It's exactly the opposite.
They built an arena and won a championship. Nobody else can compete with that.
I mean, the Brewers, I think the results have been unbelievable, and I think we say it's unfair, right? And the Brewers have had unbelievable results, and this team is so fun. But it's not like the Bucks are making money. The Bucks are choosing to lose money. The Brewers don't choose to lose as much money as the Bucks do. That's a business choice, and the Brewers have continued to win and have excellence in the way they do it.
Are you really losing money? Are you really losing money when you buy the team for $400 million and now it's worth $2 billion? You're not losing money.
Well,
you're deferring
yes, you
money.
Well, I mean, I have to send money in. I just wired a bunch of money in, so we're losing money.
You're going to get it back. You're going to get it back tenfold.
Hopefully,
hopefully. Just write it off.
What do you mean write it off? You actually have to pay the money. I don't have that much income.
I mean,
come on, income to write it off again.
Just write it off.
No, when you actually pay money, you can't write it off. Like the money's paid.
I do.
I don't know.
I try to.
You're richer than me. You have that NFL money. That's different. NBA money is not like NFL money. NFL's at a whole nother level.
Well, Craig, I hope you get a chance to celebrate your birthday this weekend. We appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. We'll talk to you again next week.
Happy 7/12, everybody.
Does that have any significance whatsoever?
No.
Perfect.
No.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy rolls on right after this.
Guys, I'm telling you, if you're making plans to propose to that special someone in your life, of course the Jewelry Center is the only place to go for that diamond engagement ring. They're the best place in Milwaukee to shop for diamond engagement rings, and it is for a reason. It's what I did, and that's where you should go as well, because the helpful team at the Jewelry Center are always going to point you in the right direction. Maybe you don't have an idea of what your future spouse wants. Bring in a Pinterest board, and then they're going to take care of the rest at the Jewelry Center. Naturally mined diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, whatever you're in the market for when it comes to an engagement ring, of course, the Jewelry Center has it. Check out their inventory at any one of the 3 locations, Greenfield, Brookfield, and in Burlington, or shop online at shoptjc.com.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
ESPN Wisconsin's Fantasy Football League is returning. It all starts with the draft at David Buster's in Tosa on August 1st. Your first shot at being part of the draft comes on July 19th. Tune in to 94.5 ESPN all day on July 19th to see how you can be paired up with an ESPN Wisconsin host. And if you're looking to host a fantasy football draft of your own, Dave and Buster's will have you drafting like a champ. Book your fantasy draft today for special deals like free appetizers and 20% off food. Get started at dnbparty.com.
Landworks is the locally owned landscape company to elevate the look of your home or business. Landworks is different because of customer service. From the crew to the salesperson to the admin team, you're in good hands with Landworks. Their sales and design teams are made up of horticulturists, licensed landscape architects, and passionate plant people. Their landscape architects and horticulture team members are also project managers. This means you'll have a single point of contact from initial design through completion of work. See their amazing work for yourself at landworkswisconsin.com.
We all love Saturdays, but are they really all that rewarding? I mean, do you really feel rewarded after mowing the lawn or doing all your I gotta do this because today's the weekend whatevers? Well, Potawatomi wants your Saturdays to be the most rewarding ever with a share of $400,000 in cash and prizes. Just play this July for prize drawing entries. Win on Saturdays. Plus, each Potawatomi rewards level gets their own drawing. Rewarding Saturdays at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. For more details, visit paysbig.com/rewarding. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle. Unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week, Marcus and Chris talk Bucks offseason and dive into roster moves that could be on the horizon. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Come on, guys. Let's think about this. Could you do 50 straight days of burgers?
That was very condescending. I just
No,
want to be clear
that's
on
not.
the tone.
Let's put our heads together.
Do this.
Again, I have children. I know condescending when I hear it.
I can be. Come on,
On 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, are you ready to upgrade the concrete surfaces in your home? Let me tell you about Showtime Floors and Floor Shield. It's used by military bases, airports, businesses, and residential homes like mine. Floor Shield is designed to beautify and protect your concrete surfaces. It has gotten to the point where when I pull in my garage, I almost want to wipe off the wheels before I pull in to the beautiful surface that the folks over at Showtime Floors put into my house. If you contact Showtime Floors, they will give you a 15-year warranty against wear. And if you mention ESPN, they'll give you free crack repair and 10% off. I got to tell you guys, it's a game changer. Had no idea what I was missing. Go to their website, guys. It's showtimefloors.com, showtimefloors.com to check out their new product, Floor Shield. you missed any of Jason Wilde or Craig Carmesin's appearances, you can find them always on Wisconsin On Demand or wherever you get your podcasts. We are going to take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Roll on second hour of the show. Lots of stuff to still get to, including We Can Reach You.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Moving along slowly now, westbound 94 from about 25th Street out to Mitchell Boulevard, so give yourself a little extra time this morning. Northbound 43 is a bit tight from Locust up past Keefe. Westbound 894 from 27th Street to 68th is going to be that heavy spot. Traffic is brought to you by Johnson & Sons Paving. Follow the 3 R's of asphalt maintenance to avoid minor issues becoming huge headaches. Reseal, repair, and replace. Learn more at johnsonsonspaving.com. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, sunny, some haze, a high of 83. Tonight, mainly clear with a low of 66. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Jen Latta here from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I have told you about the delicious pizza you can find at Proof Pizza inside St. Kate. Now there's even more to be excited about with new sandwiches on the menu. Available every day from 11 to 4, you can enjoy options like the turkey pesto, the meatball hero, the Italian hoagie, and more. Skip the same old lunch at your desk and grab a delicious sandwich from Proof instead. Order inside the restaurant or directly from the bar at St. Kate. Explore the new sandwiches and the rest of the menu at proofpizzamke.com.
College students, are you looking to make your campus living more comfortable, functional, and fashionable this year? Let IKEA Oak Creek help. From innovative storage solutions and furniture to maximize your space, to fashionable bedding and accessories to make it uniquely yours, IKEA is helping make college living truly inspired by you. And now, qualified college students can get 15% off their IKEA purchases. Visit IKEA Oak Creek or check out the Ready for College section on IKEA.com/US to learn more. Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. Kyle Bruston Nortman. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Golf would be much more interesting if, for one shot in each 9, your partner can just clean your club.
Skenes, what a jerk! I'm never playing golf with him again.
Who? Gendison?
Steve Genison.
Why does that name sound so familiar?
He used to be a baseball player.
So you have to think about it in the back of your head. You're like, is this the time he's going to drill me?
Wait, does he have to yell blitz? Like you get to the top and all of a sudden you just hear...
You get Brian's sight.
We're on the 15th hole. Yeah, he's beating me by a couple of strokes. Then he's about to hit his second shot when he picks up the ball and cleans it.
Now that would be fair.
But you've got to time, if you're the one doing the blitzing, you got to get time so you don't get whacked with the club.
You go along.
So what?
Sorry. But the rules clearly state that you cannot clean the ball unless it's on the green. The rules are very clear about that. Yeah, so I penalized him a stroke. He lost it. We almost came to blows.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamorro. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight, he ain't doing nothing but running.
We so appreciate our longtime listeners here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Dumpy in West Bend, who we spoke to earlier this morning, I believe, reminding us that 7/12 is National Pecan Pie Day, National Paper Bag Day, and National French Fry Day. And there is a time when we would have known all of that, guys. We would have been telling you that. Instead, we're talking Green Bay Packers. And apparently, there is a narrative out there. There is a thought process out there. There is a portion of the population out there that believes Packers fans are great. Michelle Smallman from Unsportsmanlike has been looking for a fan base to join, a team to support. Famously, her story is she's from St. Louis, hates Stan Kroenke.
Who doesn't?
Well, true. You don't have to be from St. Louis to hate Stan Kroenke. But he obviously took her team, the Rams, to L.A., so she was left teamless and has been looking for a team ever since. And so I believe at one point we had a few folks here who were campaigning for her to join the Packers fan base. So she ranked the Packers as the third best fan base in the NFL. And apparently there was some pushback to that from one of our own, Rutledge and Hamilton, which I believe now is...
So Molly is going to be added to that team coming up later this month.
Yes, so Rutledge,
so
Hamilton, and is it Brown or Molly? Are they calling her Molly or is it Brown?
Molly.
Molly, thank you.
But her name's Molly Brown.
Yeah, I picked up on that, Gabe. Thanks. I appreciate you leading me to that water. He says it's actually easy to be a fan of the Packers because the Packers are good. And I kind of agree with that. Like, it's easy to be a fan of a team that consistently does well, isn't it, Gabe? It's harder to remain loyal to a team that breaks your heart over and over and over again. Is Rutledge right that it is easy to be a Packers fan?
Right now, sure, but I don't think the Packers fan base is fair weather by any stretch of the imagination. They stunk in the 70s and 80s, and yet by the time I was coming of age in the 90s, there was still a wait list for season tickets. Right? So you can't, so if your team is good, you can't be a good fan base all of a sudden. Like when the Seahawks were going through their thing and they were putting in loud stadiums, it was the hardest place to play. Still a really hard place to play now. You can't be a good fan base.
But he's not saying that it's not good. He's just saying it's easier to support good teams than it is to consistently, right? I mean, just think about the criticism, ridicule you get from if you're a Bears fan, right? Because the Bears have stunk El Stinko for so long. But if you're consistently and loyal and you stick through it, the hope is that someday you will be rewarded by all of the mistakes and mishaps eventually leading to success. Maybe that is Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, et cetera, et cetera. Saw Keenan Allen, by the way, standing on the SB stage last night. Rough choice of suit, buddy. Rough choice of suit. Chew, does Rutledge have a point that it is easier to root for good teams than it is to consistently root for bad teams?
It is, but when you're a good team, the bar's higher, right? I mean, making the playoffs, they make the playoffs this year, who cares, right? When you have a Super Bowl caliber team, which we think we believe we have here, even though they might not quite be there yet, the bar's higher. Yeah. Going to the divisional round and who cares, right? And that's the nice thing about it. And it seems like the Packer bar has raised the Bucks bar and the Brewer bar as well, right? I mean, Brewers going to the play. Let's say they finish with 94 wins.
Yeah.
Losing in the first round or second round is just doesn't feel good enough.
But that has nothing to do with the Packers. That has everything to do with the Brewers being in the postseason. How many ever of the last years it's been? Like, it's because of the run that they've been on, and they haven't gotten over the hump.
But
right?
take the
that
Bears.
More than,
yeah,
that
but
more to do with the Brewers.
Take the Bears, for example. Making the playoffs this year, probably good enough for them.
That's a great step for them.
I don't even know if it's a step. I mean, obviously it's a step, but they're an organization that's not sustainable for whatever reason. Even when they went to the Super Bowl and played the Colts, I didn't think they were the second best team in the NFL that year. Did you?
Their defense was really good.
Their offense was really bad.
Yeah, oh yeah. Sexy
not
Rexy.
bad, but
Sexy Rexy isn't. Thank God he didn't win a Super Bowl. Can you imagine?
Jen, who was 1 and 2 on the list? Do you know?
It's a good question. Joshy, can you check and see if you know who Michelle's power rankings of teams?
Steelers, Eagles.
Oh, Steelers, Eagles.
Steelers
have a
were
good
1,
fan base.
Eagles were 2.
And Steelers have come on some tough times. Now, not tough like the Bears or some of these other franchises that have had really, really bad records over the last few years. But, I mean, the Steelers, we know, have made the postseason under Mike Tomlin year in, year in, year in, year out. But that does feel like a good fan base. And I think I heard Damian Woody this morning talking on Sportsmanlike about how you see terrible towels everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter where you go. Somebody's got it hanging in the dentist's office. You're like, oh, okay, Steelers fan.
Yeah, if I didn't play for Green Bay, Pittsburgh would have been my second choice.
Okay.
Yeah, just lunch pail type people, love their team, even when they struggle. It's a great Philly, I don't know why Philly's in there.
Okay, so do you think the average person, and this is tough to say for the Packers because they have had sustained success having Hall of Famers under center, at least for the last, 30 decades. If the team does start to stink, do people's fan bases wane? Do they pull back a little? Are they not as invested? They may still be a quote unquote fan of the team, but does their fanaticism sort of diminish?
I think you lose some of the fringe fans, some of the more casual fans, but again, I think the Packers' diehard fan base is deep and strong.
Well, I can tell you this. I don't know if you guys agree with me here. It's much easier to do this show after a loss than it is a win.
Depends.
What do you mean?
The reaction, how upset the fans are.
Right. But that goes back to what you were saying before about standards and expectations.
Yeah.
Like if they were a bad team, Chew, if they were, it would be hard to do it after a loss. If they were a 3-14 team, okay, they lost again. Okay, they lost because of this again. It'd just be kind of the same thing. It'd be more fun to do it after the win.
Yeah, but if they're a
little
good
bit
team, like I'm sure the reaction when we lost to Indianapolis back in the day, when Indy was like 1-12 and we were one of the top dogs.
Fire Holmgren, trade Favre.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that drives me nuts, and it drives me nuts with the Packer fan base as well. And I was talking about this with my son, is when they can't look at things objectively. When they're so rose-colored green and gold glasses, just drives me nuts.
I thought that was kind of part and parcel for being a fan. I thought there was a part of you that is kind of like...
It is, but I can't talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. Yeah, I just don't want to talk to you. You know?
I understand. I understand that this is baked into the cake. However, I'm going to need you to go over there. That's basically what you're saying, right? Yes. So you understand that when people are fans of teams, oftentimes they do look through rose-colored glasses. Yes. They do always see the glass half full.
Okay, so maybe you guys can help me, because during the break I found out I'm doing Greeny again today, and this list is something that every show on ESPN Radio is doing today. So who should I have on my list of top 5 NFL fan bases when I do Greeny here in an hour?
Ooh, fun.
I think Dallas has to be in there, although Dallas fans, because my wife's headquarters are in Dallas, are completely delusional. When she goes down there, to the corporate offices, they think everyone in the world are Dallas Cowboys fans. Doesn't matter. And she just fires back at them. And they don't care. They're just you talk about toads.
There is not a chance in hell I am putting the Dallas Cowboys on this list. You can bleep off.
Yeah.
Well, who are you putting on?
Saw that coming. But here's the thing. Again, this goes back to you have to figure out the scale. This to me is an X and Y axis type of thing, right?
Okay.
Because success
around and find out.
Yep, exactly. As Rutledge was saying, the more successful you are, the easier it is to be a fan. That's just reality, right? Part of it is FOMO. Everybody else is cheering for the Packers. Everybody else is, I don't know, go to the bar. I don't even know anything about football. I want to go. I want to be a part of it. Frivolity and celebration and yada, yada, yada. That you have to also think of fan bases that have had teams that have not been historically great, but they have been tried and true, stuck with them, and they still make a lot of noise. Tony Cartagena is weighing in on the ESPN Milwaukee Talk and Text line saying, I thought the Packers were the best fans in football. Then I moved to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Insanity. Something wrong with those people, but it's actually amazing. They are the best fans in sports.
So when I was putting together a preliminary list, the Browns have to be on my top 5 list because it's insane. And I would be unaware of it unless Good Karma Brands owned ESPN Cleveland. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Like the way they went crazy over all these different quarterbacks they've drafted and the number of people they get.
Yeah, but is that out of pity,
Gabe?
Is that out of pity because you feel sorry for them?
No,
the Cubs. I mean, obviously we hate the Cubs here because of proximity. But was there a part of baseball fans that kind of felt sorry for them because they hadn't won a World Series ever?
But that doesn't mean they were fans of them. Right?
But is that the same thing with Cleveland? Like,
no,
all right, they lose their team. They lose their team to Baltimore. Art Modell screws them over.
I'm telling you, the people in Cleveland are just different, man. Like, they care about the Browns on a whole new level. Like, they had LeBron James. They had one of the 2 best basketball players of all time for a decade in that town.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he won a bleeping championship, he was still second fiddle to the Cleveland Browns.
And oh my God, you guys, I just pulled up the Cleveland Browns year-by-year record, right, on Pro Football Reference, rather.
It's bad.
The number of seasons consecutively where they don't hit double-digit wins is unbelievable. Even worse, obviously everybody knows about the 1-15 season, the 0-16 season, 6-10, 4-12, 5-11, 4-12, 5-11, 5-11, 4-12, 4-12. Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
I'm going back to
very bad
2000, 3-13, 2-14, 5-11.
And LeBron could be bigger than that.
Most places would have sold the team by then. They would have been like, because fans wouldn't be showing up and supporting the home team.
Wouldn't catch me dead rooting for him. If that was the Packers, I'm out. Sorry.
But Gabe, it changes from city to city, having grown up outside of Boston.
Yeah.
The Red Sox are one. The Red Sox are the Packers of Boston.
Yes, 100%.
New England, the Patriots?
Yeah.
They're 3.
Behind the Celtics.
Okay,
Behind the Celtics.
so I got, as you're making your list there, Gabe, I got to think the Kansas City Chiefs are on there, right?
I put the Chiefs on here as well.
But is that also in part because they've been so good lately?
Part of that, yes, but I just think of when the stories that
Yeah.
Chewy tells when he played
about
there,
Arrowhead.
and about how
loudest.
Arrowhead is just
Yeah,
the
lost
loudest
limbs.
stadium.
Yeah.
So then if you're going by volume, do you have to put Seattle on
So
there?
that's what I was thinking as well. So the preliminary list that I put together was
No,
Bills,
Seattle's
Browns,
fake.
Chiefs.
Seattle's fake. Gabe.
Okay, so
Seattle's
don't put
fake.
Seattle on there. See,
No,
I'm glad we're
because
doing
Seattle's
They've got
been
that little
doing,
roof.
You have to be able to be
Cheaters.
doing this for 40 years. Seattle's been doing it for like 10.
Well, then do you put the Patriots on there?
No. Hell no. No. No.
I'm trying to figure out the metric here, folks. Can we figure out what the metric is?
well, I
For
think-
a minute, I thought it was
think-
volume at the stadium.
Hold on.
Apparently,
Eye
it's
test.
not volume.
It's all eye test,
Yeah.
Jen.
Number
Strictly
one.
eye
Now
test.
we're back to the manager of the Pirates who's pulling Skenes after 7.
Number one, you have to be the most important team in the city. If you got a basketball team, a hockey team.
Yeah, so the Browns get that. The Chiefs are certainly more important than
What
the
about-
Royals.
what
You got
about
the
San
Steelers
Fran?
on your list?
I don't. I have the Bills on
What
my
about
list.
the Niners?
You tell me they're wine and cheese
They
country.
are, but 8 million of them hate me. Okay.
Just because a couple people came
What a
after
good
you on social
callback. What a good callback for you.
Seems self-serving.
Yeah, a little bit.
So if I put the Niners on this list, why? Well, my co-host had a message before a playoff game that was misconstrued, and a bunch of people from San Francisco now hate him.
All right, so
If we're going by Chewy hate, then I got to put the Bengals on here too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I covered the Packers, you guys know, for 7 years. And several times we went to Philadelphia for games. That's a crazy fan base.
Yes.
That's an insane fan base. I don't have any point of reference like Tony Cartagena does for Cleveland, but I was like, well, these people are certifiable. Does that count? Is certifiable a metric you want to use for how good of a fan base a team has?
They're launching batteries at people. I don't know if you're
Yeah.
a good fan base.
You could put the Raiders there,
They're
too. when they were in
passionate,
Oakland.
Gabe.
Yeah. Well, who else did you put on there?
He's working through it, it sounds
yeah,
like.
I was working. I started with Bills, Browns, and again, I put Chiefs on there because of that. I feel like I have to put the Packers, but again, I feel we've got, and because we're so close to it, we've got some issues we need to figure out as a fan base as well.
Oh, like the wave.
Oh,
and the noise.
People standing up, people sitting down. Packers like the Milwaukee crowd. No, they don't like the Milwaukee crowd. Like, we have a lot of internal Civil War things going on as a fan base that we need to clean up, and I'm sure every fan base has it. But I just feel like I can't put the Packers like on the top of the list, but I still feel that.
No, you're right.
With the season ticket list, with the tailgating culture, no matter what the weather is, we're showing up no matter what.
And
I feel we go on
There's
the
a lot
list.
of joiners. I'll give you an example, like the Blammer, right?
Okay.
Swears he's the biggest Packer fan and got the jersey and all that, and he'll watch a game like I say, name 5 players on the Packers. Lynn Dickey. James Lofton has no clue whatsoever. So there are a lot of joiners.
That's the FOMO thing. I have a question for you. Have we been remiss not to mention the Las Vegas Raiders fans? And again, because they were obviously in Oakland for so long, but these are the people that are wearing spikes on their shoulders and face paint and all that. Like, that should count for something, right? That level of intensity, that level of commitment. And the team's been bad.
If they were still in Oakland, maybe.
Yeah, they were crazy.
Because it's not, the black hole isn't what it is in Vegas, what it was in Oakland.
No,
like
it's
it
the
still
Roomba
kind
now.
of
It's the Roomba.
it still kind of exists a little bit.
What about Denver?
Ooh.
Yeah? I honestly, I hadn't thought about it. So why would you put Denver on the list?
Their fans are pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, they're not obnoxious. They're good. They love their team. They travel fairly well.
Again, the sliding scale here, I'm trying to nail down, like, and again, maybe it's nebulous. Maybe it's
Yeah, I think
totally
it is.
ambiguous, you
I
know?
think it
and
is.
But I don't understand how you can just dismiss the New England Patriot fans who have, again, team is good, so maybe that drops you down a little bit because it's easy to root for a winner.
But it seems like Patriots gears kind of disappeared the last couple of years, doesn't it?
Well, they're fair weather.
That's what I'm saying.
Fair weather. Yeah, total fair weather.
So they can't be on the list at all.
Yeah, they're not in the
I wouldn't
top
put
five.
them there.
They're not in the top
Like me,
five.
I could give two craps about Boston College. I don't even know who the head coaches are.
Isn't that more of a you
Well,
problem?
that's because we
Now,
just
Jen,
hired their head
you go
coach.
10-1, love them. They're great.
Suddenly Chewy's writing checks.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what does your list look like right now?
Well, so right now I've got an opening at 4. I went Bills. I might even put Browns 1, but I put Bills 1. But I think Bills will probably slide down to 2. So I'll probably go Browns, Bills.
Wait a minute, we didn't
Chiefs.
even talk about the Bills. Is the Bills because they lost all those Super Bowls and fans still stuck by them? And
Yeah, they've stuck with that team, the tailgating culture. Everybody shows up for
just
it.
because you throw
like-
yourself through a couple of
Flaming
tables.
tables.
Yeah, you throw yourself through a couple flaming
Light
tables.
yourself on fire.
Yeah,
Okay.
you move up the list. I need a 5th team because I've got Browns, Bills, Chiefs, blanket 4. I was going to put the Packers at 5. But maybe I put the Packers at 4. 'cause
I
they don't have
love
another
you
team.
having the Packers at 5 because then you have the national platform to articulate some of these issues that
Yeah.
Packers fans need to get figured out. Maybe shaming them on Greeny is going to be just the trick.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need.
Those jerks won't change.
Based on a bad fan base that somehow is always hopeful, and yet, Lucy always still pulls the football away from them, do we put the Jets on there? I mean, they seem forever hopeful. Or am I just basing that solely off of Greeny on get up every morning rooting for the Jets?
I got to be perfectly honest with you. I'm unfamiliar with this team that you're speaking of. The what?
You've never heard of them?
The Mets? Yeah, I know the Mets. They play baseball.
Grimace.
Unfamiliar with the other team that you're referring to. Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. The hotel is ideally located in the heart of the theater district in downtown Milwaukee, and I believe they are just outside of the footprint. So if this week y'all are looking for a spot to go to, they're just outside of everything that is going to be fenced off, roped off, you can access St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com. That's stkatearts.com.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink.
Westbound 894 slow from 27th Street out towards Forest Home through the construction zone. Westbound 94 going to be backed up from about 25th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. And northbound 43 heavy right around the North Avenue curve up towards Keefe. Traffic is brought to you by the club at Lac La Belle. The historic course is open to the public 7 days a week. Schedule your tee time at club@laclabelle.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Sunny, some haze, a high of 83. Tonight, mainly clear, a low of 66. For the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher, and summer is here. But if you want your parking lots and asphalt to be ready for winter, you have to remember the 3 R's from Johnson & Sons Paving. Reseal every 2 to 3 years. Repair when you see signs of cracking or potholes. And replace if there's constant standing water, buckling, or sinking. Don't scare customers or tenants away because of a bad parking lot. Connect with Johnson & Sons today before minor repairs end up being huge headaches. Schedule an appointment at johnsonsonspaving.com.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that American Family Insurance agents can help build a customized renter's policy so you can protect stuff like this, or this, or even this. Well, case in point. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Eagle Sports Range has an unbeatable offer on concealed carry license classes. For just $49, enroll in their 3-hour class led by expert instructors prioritizing safety. Learn laws, techniques, and mindset for responsible carrying. Stick around for an optional hour of range time with instructors included in the package. Practice under professional guidance and gain confidence. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day at 2525 East Layton Avenue in Cudahy. Secure your spot at eaglesportsrange.com. Eagle Sports Range, where safety meets skill.
Discover the difference at findhigherlove.com/CBD. Higher Love Cannabis Company is the only cultivator in the UP offering organic, clean green certified products. That means quality you can trust every time. With 7 locations across the UP, including Menominee, Norway, and Ironwood, finding your higher love is easier than ever before. And for our friends in Green Bay, Higher Love is less than an hour away. Kindness starts with you. Experience Higher Love today. Visit findhigherlove.com/CBD and follow them on social media at Find Higher Love.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
So you mentioned Super Bowls and parties and how they don't go hand in hand, which again is an absurd comment by you two, but it's just one of many on the show.
Dumber thing that Chewy has said this morning. Super Bowls and parties don't go hand in hand, or cheddar is not a top 10 cheese.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Things you probably didn't have on your bingo card today for Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. 1, Livy Dunn conversation with Jason Wilde. No one saw that one coming. And 2, well, that. I did not have that on my bingo card. Ashton Rotman back there jumping into the production booth with our buddy Josh DiMaggio. I did not have on the bingo card talking about Des Bryant. Was it a catch or was it not a catch? But if you follow the bouncing ball, we were talking about the Yankees-Rays game last night and how one of the infielders, I believe it was, outfielder, infielder went to the outfield, caught the ball, and then started celebrating and immediately dropped the ball, and then they had to review it to see if it was in fact a catch because the Yankees thought maybe it was not in fact an out. And then, of course, that brought up Des Bryant. And was it a catch or was it not a catch? And Gabe, you were saying?
Definitely not a catch.
But it was a catch.
But it wasn't.
Chewy?
Based on the rule of the time, it was not a catch.
But it was a catch by the eye. We saw him catch the ball.
That doesn't matter. It matters what the rule is.
Did it hit the ground?
The ball hit the ground, yes. And it jarred loose because it hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass.
No, that's a catch. Sorry.
Des did not catch it.
The ground caused the fumble. It caused it to cough
But he's
out.
going to the ground, and the rule of the time was if you're going to the ground, you have to maintain possession through the catch.
His knee hit first. He was down. No, that's
But he wasn't down because he's going to the ground, so to complete the process, you have to hold on to the damn football.
So what would be the rule today?
So the rule today
would be a clear no because you have to make an athletic move.
But how would he
you
make
catch
an
the ball?
athletic move in that play?
I know. I totally agree.
In today's rule of what a catch is, Chew, him reaching the ball would constitute that other action after getting 2 feet or a knee down. Reaching the ball would constitute that other action. So that would have been a completed catch today.
I understand that you have to minute your way through a scenario, right? But there is a part of me that feels like common sense should prevail in these things. Like, we know it was a catch. We know he caught the ball.
It was an incomplete pass.
Okay, some of this is your fandom stepping in.
I was just going to say, because at the time of the catch or non-catch, Gabe was a toad. So if that was Devontae Adams, would Gabe say that
How
was
do you feel
a catch?
about that, Gabe?
At the time, I knew it was going to be an incomplete pass. Because that had happened a couple of times throughout the course of the season, and that was again, because the NFL changes the bleeping catch rule every year.
Remember Kelvin Johnson?
Oh, yeah.
The clearest touchdown in the world.
Oh, yeah. That was against the Bears.
Yeah. And they called it an incomplete pass. And because I knew they called that an incomplete pass, that was going to be an incomplete pass.
This play in the Yankees-Rays game reminded me more of when a football player is running towards the end zone, they've got the ball in their hand, and then they drop it in celebration before they... Now, they cross the goal line, but the ball doesn't cross the plane, and then it doesn't count, and you're like... And I understand that one, because to me, that is a celebration thing. For this Yankees-Rays thing yesterday, he did feel a little premature celebration, right? But they did review it and said he did secure it in his glove, even though it was a bang-bang catch drop.
Which actually happens in baseball all the time when they talk about transferring, trying to make a turn at second base for a double play.
That's right. It had to make the rule, right?
Yeah, and so many times because you control it and you're trying to get it out quick, you don't need control for that long in baseball because think about how many double plays that's happened on where they rule that lead runner out at second base.
Because they caught the ball, but then they bobble it on the transfer,
Correct.
and then the ball hits the ground,
Which
or
is-
it ends up being a drop.
He caught it, controlled it, slapped his glove, and it came out.
So this goes back to New York. The review does. So you
In
can't
baseball,
say
yes.
if this was in Yankee Stadium, they would have called it
Correct.
a non-catch.
It's somebody outside of the umpires that are on the field. Yes, it goes back to New York.
You know, it wasn't that long ago that you were not able to review anything in Major League Baseball except questionable home runs. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, again, this thing last night, right?
Yeah.
Like, would it have been just what the umpire ruled in the moment? Which
was out.
Was out. He caught it, yeah.
That's close.
You're watching the play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he didn't secure the ball.
But he did.
And
I
he's
don't-
saying,
If you watch it on
baseball has such a small requirement you have to meet.
Yeah.
Which is what? You have to have 2 feet down?
2 feet down, inbounds.
Yeah.
You can't be forced out.
No, it's more of the if you're converting oxygen to carbon dioxide, it's a catch.
That's close.
Yeah, but he controlled it for a split second. That's all he needed.
Would that have been a catch in the NFL?
In the NFL, no, that's not a catch.
Now, if you were letting your fan base affect this, they did go on to beat the Yankees, so it's a catch, right? It's an
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, that's close.
He's watching it over and over.
He's mesmerized by it. He can't look away.
Well, because typically this happens when, let's say, an infielder goes to get the ball in the glove.
Exactly, and it
flips
pops out. Yeah.
I don't think he controlled it, Gabe.
But
because you see the ball move in his glove.
There's a slow replay angle where he kind of so it's kind of snow coned, and then he kind of opens the glove and closes it to secure it.
So do
and
you have to
that's
hold it
all.
for a second?
No.
Or
Not even.
No, not even.
Hey, can we also talk about Little League? Are they talking out there or what? I got 3 guys in the same area chasing down that ball. Isn't anybody calling it off?
Well, I mean, obviously the infield, nobody collided.
Whose call is it?
It's the outfield. If the outfielder has the priority. If
But
the
he didn't
outfielder
catch it.
thinks
It's
he
the
can get there,
infielder that got it.
If the
It's a short-
if the outfielder thinks he can get there, he calls off. But if he doesn't know if he can get there, then he's not saying anything. But if the outfielder says something, infielders clear out.
And then who's in charge of the infield?
Shortstop. Shortstop thinks he can get it, then he
Is that
makes
what
the call.
position Fairbanks plays, or is he a second baseman?
I think he's second base.
Chewy's not convinced. Now, Chew, just so you know, they did take to instant replay.
Yeah.
They slowed it down. They made a judgment. They did say it was a catch and that it was, in fact, an out. But again, I'm watching it over and over again now on my computer as well. It is quick.
Yeah, it's
is
quick.
very quick.
But you don't need it. Again, think about how quick a double play is.
Yeah.
And they rule them out all the time there. So it's kind of the same standard.
You'd be surprised at how many guys on a team don't know the rules.
Oh, I mean, it seems
There's
like
a
it
ton.
happens once
Yeah.
a year or anytime somebody ties a game in the NFL where players are like, oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
you could tie in the NFL, despite it
Like
happening.
one
a
I
handful of
always
times.
deal with is in football, and a lot of guys didn't even know this. So if the team punting the ball
Mm-hmm.
touches it, but it's not down, the receiving team can pick the ball up, fumble, and
Yep.
they still get the ball back.
Correct.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
You know what? Tell you the truth, I don't think I knew that when I played. Certainly didn't know it in college.
Yeah, like if the ball inadvertently hits somebody's leg.
Or
now,
if
as
he
the returning
touches it
team-
and it's not down.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, when did you learn it?
when they told me to pick the ball up every time when I was a long snapper. Because a lot of guys will just go down and touch it and
Yep.
feel the ball's dead. It's not dead. They always say pick it up and hand it to the official. That way, you know,
Nothing crazy can happen.
Nothing crazy can happen.
If you love sports betting, you got to make your way to the Sportsbook at Potawatomi Hotel, Milwaukee. It has everything a sports fanatic could want and more. I imagine they will be pretty slammed this coming week with that big convention in town. But if you're looking for a place to watch all of your games, they've got a 2,000 square foot video wall, a first-class bar, a brand new restaurant called The Kitchen, a VIP deck, and so much more. If you're in a rush, they have free 20-minute reserved parking spaces near the Skywalk. Might be the only free parking in Milwaukee next week, actually. It's a new era of sports betting at Potawatomi. Get in on the action at the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Westbound Westbound 894 backed up from 27th Street all the way to about 68th. Watch out for some delays on westbound 94 from 27th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. We got northbound 43 back on the brakes from North Avenue all the way up past Keefe, although the southbound side is looking just fine. Traffic is brought to you by the Club at Lac La Belle. The historic course is open to the public 7 days a week. Schedule your tee time today at club@laclabelle.com. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, sunny, some haze, a high of 83. Tonight, mainly clear with a low of 66. Weather's brought to you by Higher Love Cannabis Company. Find your Higher Love today, only 59 miles from Green Bay. Find higherlove.com/CBD. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Toscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. If you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family-owned business for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off and 0% interest for 12 months on your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast, professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Something amazing is happening in data management. Even though storage needs are constantly changing, companies are only paying for what they need now. That's because CDW customized a Pure Storage Evergreen One SLA-driven storage-as-a-service solution that delivers enterprise-grade hybrid cloud storage that is effortless, efficient, and evergreen. Simplify storage administration with Pure Storage and CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com/purestorage.
Madame Giselle senses a change in your future.
Is it a promotion?
I see a door opening.
Ooh, to a corner office?
There's a creature. Beady eyes, lots of hair.
Is it my boss, Dave?
No, raccoons everywhere. Your RV door is open, and they're chewing everything.
Not a problem. I'm covered by Progressive. Do you see a bigger paycheck?
Customize your coverage with Progressive's Pest Damage Protection and be prepared for the unexpected. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pest Damage Protection available for RVs less than 6 years old. $250 deductible applies to any claim.
Hi, it's Haley from the newest Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek. Come see me today. Haircuts are just $20. Lady Jane's, Oak Creek on Howell Ave, just south of Puth Road. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
He hates the ending of all comedies. Apparently doesn't like happy endings.
I love happy endings. Don't take it that far.
Muy
bueno.
Maybe that's a vote for Groundhog Day for you.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Back here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, and you know what time it is. It's time to play a little We Can Reach You.
Think you know the show better than the average ESPN Milwaukee fan? Now's your chance to prove it. It's time to play The Week in Reach You.
How you feeling today, big guy? No Blammer Thursday.
No Blammer Thursday. I feel sharp as a butter knife.
Sounds about right. 5 questions, you get 3 right, you win. You get 3 wrong, you lose, as we test your knowledge of things that you said throughout the course of this past week. Question number 1. What was your brilliant idea to improve golf?
Yeah. See, I think golf would be much more interesting.
Playing in a lightning storm? Hold up that golf club, Jen. See what
Golf would be
happens.
much more interesting if...
If what?
One each 9, you get to hit the opposing golfer.
Making a contact sport.
Yeah.
What kind of hit are we talking about?
A
Like
blindside,
tackle.
like a total blindside hit.
Yeah.
Warren Sapp style.
Yeah.
Drop the shoulder.
Would I have to start wearing a helmet then?
It doesn't hurt that much.
If you're tackling me, I'm guessing it's going to hurt a little bit.
I didn't see
Also,
me.
why do we play this game again?
Oh, for my brain? I think it's a great idea.
Question number 2. There's not a chance you get this right. What did you say here?
I mean, the question let's say. I mean, the question let's say. What? I mean, the question let's say.
What did you say there?
I mean, the question let's say. I mean, the question let's say. I mean, the question let's say.
You might be able to get the first word.
Joshy said that to me
I mean, the
earlier this
question
week.
let's say.
I had no idea.
You said that, and I thought I was having a stroke. I looked around. What's going on here?
One more time. I mean, the question let's say. I'm going to crush Jose. I mean, the question let's say. What was I saying?
So Joshy believes what you were saying is, I mean, the question is the same.
I mean, the question let's say.
It's like you choked on your tongue.
That is not sped up. That is not.
No.
That is not altered in any way.
Play it again.
I mean, the question let's say.
Wait a minute. When I was listening on Tuesday, you were also really struggling with smorgasbord.
How do you say?
Do you remember that, Josh?
Smorgasbord?
Yes.
Is that right?
You're a gem.
You were having a bad speaking day.
I was.
I was like, wow.
One more time.
I'm going to crush Jose. I mean, the question let's say. Wow.
All right, you had no chance there.
Okay.
That was. It needed to be played, but also a little unfair. But I don't care. You're 1-1. Question 3 begins with the audio clip.
Because my.
Why did you say the word pubes?
Oh, because Joshy had to get tested for drugs. Right?
Hair follicle drug test. Hair follicle drug test is the correct
Well, what's
answer.
the second longest hair region on your body?
Because my.
Am I right? I mean, not anymore with manscaping, but back in the day.
Because my.
Wouldn't hear the water hit the ground in the shower. Like a sponge.
Moving on. Question 4. All right, you're in a good spot here. You've gotten 2 out of 3 correct.
My abs.
Bring the chainsaw into the bathroom.
Question 4 begins with an audio
Okay.
clip. People
I had a
watching
little
getting close to
problem
the
with the
lake
waitress there.
Seem to have a lot of those.
Well, she
snafus.
didn't like me pouring my own wine.
Where did you, once again, have a little problem with the wait staff?
It was the list we did. Why did we do the list? Was that
It was a people watching
was that
list.
power rankings?
No, so that was power rankings, and it was the people watching places in
Oh yeah,
Milwaukee.
that was Bacchus.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
Nailed it.
and you agreed with me. It's on the table.
Yeah, the
my
wine-
glass is empty. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
No, that's
You know?
ridiculous. If there's an open bottle of wine on the table
Sure.
and your glass is empty, you can pour that bottle of wine yourself. All right, you've already won, but let's see if,
Run it up.
we can run
score?
up the score. Question 5 begins with the audio clip.
It's entertaining myself.
Correct.
Yeah,
How do you entertain yourself?
that's a dangerous question there. How do I entertain myself?
Has nothing to do with pubes.
Wow.
The answer.
How do I entertain myself? I have no idea.
Setting up your friends with other people.
What were we talking about?
Frankie. And the
Oh,
nice little
yeah,
lady
yeah.
you introduced her to.
Yeah.
Him too.
About how you've got a good record of setting people up. Your wife's record is not as good as yours.
Yeah. Because you got to pick and choose. You can't try to set everybody up, which she does. She thinks she's Chuck Woolery or something. Tiny Mike.
I don't know why I said tiny Mike. Dude, that was the funniest segment. My abs hurt so bad from laughing.
I mean, the question let's say. What was I saying again?
I mean, the question is the same.
And you were using this as a transition to talk about, is the defense going to improve? And you said the question is the same, and I think you're implying last year to this year.
Again, Johnson just used every context clue he could to potentially draw out what we think you said.
Did you know it at the time?
What?
Did you know it at the time?
No, I had to go back and listen because all I heard was
Again, he thought he had a stroke. He thought his hearing was going out.
But then upon re-listening, cutting the audio and video, I pieced together what I believe to be the correct answer.
You're like Zach Galifianakis over there with the formulas hovering around your head.
It's so bad.
Joshy, that's some of your best work ever. You won, though. Congratulations.
That's over. I feel great. I feel great.
I mean, the so smart. I think we just play that every time he talks about the defense. Year forward. Just one of those drops.
What would talk to text do with that? Probably I'm going to crush Jose.
Have you guys tried Celsius Energy Drink yet? If you haven't, let me tell you all about it. It's the clean energy drink that you need to stay active and energized all day long. I need Celsius on days like today when I got to go straight from here to hair and makeup to the studio to tape a little show on ESPN. And Celsius is what gets me through the college football season as well. You can find Celsius at your local Pick and Save stores or online at Amazon. Stay active and energized all day long with Celsius Essential Energy Drinks.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Is your business looking for localized banking solutions and a strategic partner? Fifth Third Bank has been looking forward to the future and helping businesses shape what's next for 165 years. And for the last 15 here in Milwaukee. They offer industry-specific expertise, local decision-making capabilities, and extensive experience to help navigate the complexities of a constantly changing business market environment. With your business in mind, commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals, member FDIC.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Temps are heating up, and so are the ticket deals this summer with Vivid Seats. Whether it's scoring tickets for a night out at the ballpark or witnessing the rising stars of women's basketball, Vivid Seats has you covered. With a robust rewards program and wide selection of tickets, Vivid Seats makes it easy to score great deals on great seats with a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you the peace of mind for the ultimate fan experience. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Baseball, grilling, festivals, tan lines, and Saz's. Summer in Wisconsin is the finest, and Saz's Statehouse is the place to be. They've been a Milwaukee staple for almost 50 years, so they know a thing or two about summer fun. Enjoy handcrafted cocktails, festival-famous combo platters on Saz's outdoor patio, or cool off with your friends at their famous round bar. Saz's complimentary shuttles are ready to take you to games and concerts at AmFam Field. Get details at Saz's.com, located at 55th and State. See you at Saz's.
Wow, he just smashed it out of the park. Speaking of smashing, have you heard about Orange Smash?
Oh, you mean the Devil's Backbone Distilling Company canned cocktail? The one with real fruit juice, real vodka, and a splash of bubbles? It's a home run in a can.
It's the perfect drink for game day, whether you're tailgating at the ballpark or watching from home.
Find Orange Smash canned cocktails at Woodman's, Festival Food, or Pick and Save. Visit drinkasmash.com to learn more. Remember, always enjoy responsibly.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? scratch paint, Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco, Fisco, Fisco.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
The other side of the world, and I'll let you know if I want to come back and coach your little game.
He's Ian Peterman.
Ian Rappaport tweeting yesterday, and I thought this was interesting.
Oh, lady.
The Broncos the
That
last
was
2
gibberish.
weeks. You guys done?
I got more.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Here we go.
A weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend. Tune into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production. Marcus and his son Chris, a 1995 UCLA hoops champ himself, talk about everything happening in the Bucks world and are joined by some of the biggest names in basketball. Plus, they'll answer your questions too. Stay on the beat of the Bucks and find Here District now, bucks.com/plus, Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Feel like I'm gonna puke, cause my taxes are due. Do my best, we'll begin with a 1 or a 2. Been a heck of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time.
Just checking to see if we put anything on the old Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll today, and I don't think that we did. Joshy has been without a voice today. I thought we were going to get more hotkeys as the show went on, but
He started off hot.
But to be perfectly honest with you, that last segment, the We Can Reach You, made up for it. It's fantastic. Some of Joshy's best work ever on the We Can Reach You. What was that drop again, Joshy?
I don't know which one you're looking for.
I'm going to crush Jose. I mean, the crush Jose.
I'm sorry, it's never gonna get old.
Well, there's 7 words to say when you think someone's having a stroke. Did you guys know that? So next time that happens,
Wait, what? What are you talking about? 7 words to say? Like,
if you think
call 911. That's 4.
No. I think there is. It's like if you think someone is, you say, repeat this after me. Could have swore.
So, if we thought you were having a stroke after saying that,
Yeah.
there's a list of words we ask you to say.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
No?
Do you want me to Google it?
I
think he's
trying.
He's on GOOGLE.
I thought there were.
I'm going to have to take over here at some point.
Okay.
Dave. I mean,
What I see here from penmedicine.org is ask them to smile. Does one side look like it's drooping? Instruct them to raise both arms. Does one arm drift downward? And ask them to say something. So just speaking.
Okay, so it wasn't. It was actions. Well, that was close. I mean, if that was reach you, I'd get credit then, right?
You're a little too far away from this one, I think.
oh, now we can have the Des Bryant catch or no catch conversation again.
What's to say?
Did you make a football move? Did the ground cause a fumble?
Still a catch, and I believe if it was Devontae, at the time, Gabe would have said, yes, that's an absolute catch, and he would have been livid.
Are we really watching Get Up this morning, and they are asking, is Jordan Love the best quarterback in the NFC? I would love to be hearing what these gentlemen are saying about that. I love his play caller, Matt. Okay, closed caption, keep it going, LaFleur. Terrific offensive line, youngest set of skill position players in the National Football League, and they're only going to get better. All of these players are going up together. I think he means growing up together in the same.
Do you guys think it'll be a distraction, though? I do.
What? All the
Jason
attention?
kind of poo-pooed it.
Nah.
Well, but you also think that the contract is done.
I do, but if it's not, I think it's a huge distraction.
Sending me mixed
because then you're going to have players going to bat for him and talking about his contract.
Yeah, and I think that could be a storyline all throughout training camp if they don't have this contract.
Do you think the media
done.
is just if he's not signed in camp, the media will just pounce on everything?
I don't know how often it'll be a question, but it'll be brought up.
Well, let me ask you this, because I did hear you, Gabe, talking about how camp is, I mean, it's fine. You can get some things out of camp and not a lot of things out of camp. That was a conversation you guys had when I was gone earlier this week. If the contract isn't done and Jordan looks like he's out there a little hesitant or not as sharp as we remember him from the final 9 games of the season, Will you start scratching your head a little? Will you start being like, I wonder if the lack of a contract, the negotiations are starting to bother him, if they're starting to affect him? Or will you just chalk it up to regular old Camp knocking the rust off?
Yeah, regular old Camp knocking the rust off.
I don't know.
I don't think he seems like somebody who's just going to not put in the full effort.
But he might internalize it. I mean, it's different with Dak because Dak already got a big deal. Jordan hasn't got a big deal yet.
Yeah.
Jordan hasn't gotten life-altering money yet.
Well, is there anything to that, Shu? Because I do hear all the time people say, you're going to get another bite of the apple. You're going to get another crack at this. You don't need to break the bank. I feel like the person who said this might have been over there. But you don't need to break the bank on the first deal. You break the bank on the second deal.
Yes.
So is there any part of you that thinks that the Packers are using that argument when having the conversation with Jordan Love?
I don't think so. I mean, because ultimately you think the agent's driving the bus, but he's not. Jordan's driving the bus. So if it gets to a point, like I said, crazy as it may sound, there's not a big difference between $55 million a year and $53 million a year. So does it get to a point where Jordan, and this happens, gets to a point where just sign the deal. I'll take 53, fine, and then make it up later.
Yeah, but then the Packers, what if they don't want to make it up later?
Because I can tell you this.
I hate that gamble so much. I hate the idea of, oh, you know what? I'm a good employee. I do good work. It might not be the way I want it to shake out now, but next time I'll get rewarded for my commitment, for my loyalty, for my performance.
Who's to say Brian Gutekunst is still going to be there doing the deal the next time the deal comes up?
He could still be there and still say,
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really behoove us, doesn't really benefit us.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this, my agent, when I negotiated with Andy Reid, he wasn't very happy with me.
Well, of course not.
Well, not, but that's what I'm saying. The player ultimately drives the bus.
Yeah.
So it could get to a point where just sign the, let's
Aren't we
get
just
it done.
days away from him reporting? Is
Yeah,
it like the
next
17th or something like
Yeah,
that?
I think Wednesday he reports.
And then when is the shareholders meeting?
The following month, week from Monday.
If that doesn't happen by the shareholders meeting, we got trouble.
If they haven't announced it by the shareholders meeting, we have trouble.
May have a little trouble.
You think you worried about him going into the season without one?
Yes. Yeah. It's just a distraction they don't need.
And a lot of times guys will say, I'm going to shelf it. I'm just going to shelf it. I don't want to be dealing with it once the season starts. And so I'm sorry, the window has closed. Did Devontae do that? Why is Devontae popping in my head as a guy who did that and said,
But
Dak Prescott is.
We all internalize, right? I mean, we internalize it, and then it gets to a point where something is said and you snap.
Yeah, so what is that? It's your ego, right? It's your ego that wants a certain number or wants to be seen a certain way by the masses, by the other quarterbacks, by the rest of the league. And so if the team isn't willing to match that number, your ego takes a hit, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because you think you deserve it. You think you've done all of the things. And they're saying no.
Well, and again, he already took the team-friendly deal. He already took the gamble on himself. So if the Packers are the ones dragging their feet going, oh, yeah, we'll take care of you. No, he already did that once for you.
Yeah,
and maybe he digs his feet in. I don't know.
How much is it even ego? It's just the going rate.
Yeah, because you're not going to tell me a guy that's played 9 games very well after his first year of starting deserves to be the highest paid quarterback.
But the only reason I say ego, Josh, is because we don't know what the number is.
Yeah.
If we knew what the number is, we'd have a better idea if, ego is driving it and he wants to be the highest paid guy, which is sort of an ego thing. Because he could be in that range. He could be in the Trevor Lawrence range. Why is it? I'm forgetting. Jared Goff is the other quarterback, right?
So 53 and 55. But he should get 55 because
Oh yeah, the comparable is Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. There's no need to wait for Tua because I don't think, we were talking about it earlier, I don't think Miami's going to pay Tua. And I wouldn't pay him either.
I mean, eventually they might have to, but
they
they're not
may
going to
have
pay
to.
him. Yeah, they're not going to do it right now because they don't have to because they still have.
It's like Justin Jefferson. Remember Justin Jefferson in the offseason? You ain't coming back here unless Cousins is here. Oh, here's $33 million a year. Oh, okay, I'll sign. I mean, it all goes away. It all goes away. It can be as contentious as can be, but when you get that check for X amount of dollars, like, I love this place. Hey, Goody, he's the best. Love him.
When you get that signing bonus check in one lump sum, right? They just give it to you right away.
Well,
how did your signing
direct
bonus?
deposit? You can't go and say, "Can I get these in 9 million 20s?" And
You guys had direct deposit back then?
Chewy, would you have requested a big
but
check?
we had a guy.
Like
I know,
Happy Gilmore?
I know we're up against it. Rich Moran. They used to put our checks in our nameplates way back early in the day.
Yeah.
And some practice squad dude stole Rich Moran's check, which at the time was like $38,000, and he went to the Associated Bank right down the road and cashed it.
Oh, that teller's out of work.
You know what they didn't do anymore?
Write checks.
Put the checks in the nameplates.
You have to hand those to people, right?
This
That
is
has to be
before
a
direct deposit.
person-to-person transaction as opposed to let the locker do the job. All right, thanks for hanging out with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Wilde and Tosh is next on ESPN Milwaukee. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll be back with you on Monday.